Hinds County DA Jody Owens faces up to 90 years in prison and $2 million in fines if convicted of the 8 felony charges in the federal bribery scandal here in Jackson, Mississippi. How will all that affect you? How could it affect you? Even if you're not in and out of the Hinds County Courthouse, we're going to discuss, or WLBT is going to discuss, and I'm going to react to all the different ways this can affect you. Also, in this story, we're going to discuss how this all happened, how the state allows this to happen, and how the Mississippi law is being exploited to allow this to happen. We're going to do all that in hopefully about 10 minutes or less. But first, guys, be sure to check out Men's Health of Mississippi today and get yourself a complimentary testosterone screening. That's right. Low T, we're going to help you out here from the Clay Edwards Show. If you're suffering from fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, lack of morning wood, you know what I'm talking about, fellas. Low libido, that's your sex drive, brain fog, and of course, sleep disturbances. Real quick, real easy, text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550. Men's Health Mississippi is going to get you hooked up with a complimentary testosterone screening today, located right out there at 120 Fountains Boulevard in Madison, Mississippi. And when you leave there, swing by online, of course, my buyfafo.com store and get yourself a kick-ass FAFO hoodie. We got the OG G.I. Joe logo. How about the brand new blackout tag edition? The t-shirts to match. Boom shakalaka. And of course, the legendary gray one there that's been so popular for the last year plus. Check it out, buyfafo.com. And of course, every purchase comes with a couple stickers that match this here logo. Buyfafo.com. Everything ships locally from right here in Central Mississippi, made right here in Central Mississippi. Not the stickers, they come from somewhere else, but all the shirts and hoodies are printed right here in Byram, Mississippi. All right, let's get it going. How does Jody Owens' corruption charges potentially affect you? We did a video earlier from WLBT about how the mayor's charges could potentially affect Central Mississippians or Jacksonians and Hinds Cantonians. Here's how the DA's charges will affect you. Let's wind it back here to the beginning of this video. Great work by WLBT and Holly Emery. My co-host and good friend Shaun Yurtkuran with the Yurtkuran Law Firm and the Clay Edwards Show is featured in this video. So that's the main reason we're doing this. I want to highlight my boy and his hard work starting to pay off, getting all the media attention that he's getting. So here we go. Great work to WLBT, by the way. CJ, Holly Emery, the whole team over there does great work.
Our Holly Emery continues our team coverage tonight to tell you how things could play out if Hinds County DA Jody Owens is found guilty or steps down. Holly?
Well, CJ, Hinds County has seen 3 district attorneys in the last 24 years indicted. But despite the familiarity with the situation, it's likely that Jody Owens' charge will
paint me shocked. These fools in Jacktown don't know how to act.
Have an impact on the residents here in Hinds County.
This indictment is a horrible example of a flawed FBI investigation, and certainly the indictment was an assassination attempt on my character.
An assassination attempt on your character? A flawed FBI investigation? Bruh. Let's take a look at this photo from the boat ride. If any of y'all have ever, I don't remember the stand-up comedian's name. I think he died from AIDS, but he had this amazing skit called Boat Ride. And that's all I can think of is Jody Owens and Chockway on the boat ride. Here's Jody with a stack of cash in his hand on the very boat that the ab scam bust was recorded on. If you've seen Donnie Brasco or American Hustle, you're familiar with the ab scam hustle. This is the same exact boat, according to an FBI source, allegedly, of course. I don't even know what's allegedly, of course, or not anymore. It's just become fun to say, like breaking news, allegedly, of course. Anyway, I love this photo. Or how about our 2 studio gangsters at their finest right here? on the boat, Chokwe on the phone, allegedly, of course, breaking the law right there. That's what they got him on, with his little belly hanging out there. Anyway, let's continue with Jody Owens over here. Speaking of false accusations, making some false accusations about the FBI assaulting his character.
Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens maintaining his innocence as he faces 8 federal charges in connection to a bribery scheme, resulting in up to 90 years in prison and $2 million in fines.
Just like every citizen in Hinds County, we're very concerned because we need for everything to be working.
Despite the looming charges, Owens is still able to oversee cases, trials, and more.
All right, here's Shaun. I'm not going to interrupt. I got some thoughts.
Trials and more.
To the individual cases, though, I don't think it hurts them, because you'd have to prove some impropriety. You'd have to prove that there was some evidence that he did something to either like purposefully indict somebody wrongfully, or he fixed another kind of case.
But it could impact how justice is served in Hinds County, especially when it involves a jury.
If I was still an assistant DA, my biggest concern would be, what are they thinking about my office after they've read this in the paper? Because there's already this mistrust with the police out there. Your boss has admitted to, on FBI wiretaps or tapes, to committing several criminal offenses, one being offenses related to the district attorney's office. And I think that's got to hurt your credibility with a Hinds County jury. Like, can we trust these folks?
If Owens was to resign or step down, state statute says the governor shall make an emergency appointment to fill the vacancy until the same shall be filled by election.
Oh, put a Republican in there. Let Tate Reeves put a Republican over Jackson, Mississippi. You think the blue-hairs and the blacks' hair was on fire over HB 1020? You let him put a Republican. You let him put a Republican over the DA's office in Hinds County. My God, it's like setting a match and watching it burn. It would be glorious. Glorious, glorious, glorious. Jody Owens has made several very foolish comments in the last year or so. What I have right here in my hand is a copy of Mississippi Swindle. This is State Auditor Shad White's book about the welfare scandal here in Mississippi. And there's a quote in here where Nancy New allegedly kind of hinted around to bribing Jody by putting him on some boards and some this, that, and the other to kind of make the investigation go away. And Jody told her, "I'm not that kind of DA." And then, of course, there's a famous, it's becoming a very famous line that Jody uttered on these wiretaps or videos or whatever it is, however they got these recordings, where he says, I vetted them. I'm not quoting verbatim here, but paraphrasing a bit. I vetted them. They're not FBI agents. I mean, I don't know which one is funnier, given the situation. That I'm not that kind of DA when clearly you are, allegedly, of course. And then, of course, the I buy poontang, I buy cars, I buy cows, I buy drugs. And I vetted them. They're not undercover FBI agents. Why would you care if they were undercover FBI agents if you weren't breaking the law? Is anybody else asking that question? Like, to me, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And so the mayor, that's who he tells them to. He tells the mayor, they're not FBI agents. I vetted them. But why would the mayor care if they were FBI agents if he didn't know they were breaking the law? Anyway. Let's continue.
But when it comes to the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, the only action they could take would be to cut the DA's budget. But
no, will not be reduced. It doesn't have anything to do with the judicial process. As I stated, this is on the federal level.
Owens' trial is set for January 6th.
Look, I got to say this. I said it in a video earlier. I love that the trial is on January 6th. January 6th is going from being a day that will live in infamy, as Kamala Harris says. Oh my God, it's worse than 9/11 and Pearl Harbor combined. Because, January 6th, the insurrection, the broken window insurrection on January 6th. Anyway, so now on January 6th, you got Kamala Harris, of all people, having to sign off on all the electoral votes and all that stuff, whatever the exact process is that the president, that the leader of the Senate does, which is the vice president. They have to confirm the election or whatever it's called. And then you have the free the land nut jobs, Chokwe Lumumba and Jody Owens, Mr. Nobody's Above the Law. Their trial starting on January 6th. Everybody tells me it's going to get pushed back. It ain't going to start January 6th. But for the sake of this story, for the sake of a good story, the idea of Trump becoming, them having to confirm Trump as the president. I know it's not the inauguration, but it's the confirmation on January 6th. And then these two former Southern Poverty Law Center lawyer and Jody Owens and the Free the Land nut job in Chokwe Lumumba, who refused to go to the opening of the two museums in Mississippi back in 2017 in Jackson in 2017 because Trump was going to be there. Oh, it's just too effing sweet. Now let's jump over here real quick. Well, I guess let's finish the video.
Then
I think the appropriate thing to do would be for District Attorney Owens to take a leave of absence. He's not been convicted of anything yet. So, but I think it's hard for them to get everybody's mind to be on the job under this cloud.
Well, something else to note, the Mississippi Bar Association would be one of the few entities that could suspend his license and do something in this instance after a complaint process. And it's unclear at this time if they are willing to take that step.
Russ Latino is pushing everybody hard on this. And I think at minimum, Jody owes it to the people in the office and the people that work for him to, at minimum, take the leave of absence. Let's be serious here for a minute. All the hyperbole. Y'all tell me it's not hyperbole. I thought it was. I'm being hyperbolic. It's apparently the word is hyperbole. All hyperbole aside, he needs to step down. He needs to retire. Whatever he needs to do, get ready to go to prison. But at minimum, he needs to take a leave of absence. Let's jump over here real quick. I know I said 10 minutes or less. Apparently I lied. It was like 15 minutes or less. This is the bribery scandal highlights how weaknesses in Mississippi law can be exploited. This is also by WLBT. I should do a second video, but you know what? We're just going to do it all in one here for you. Here we go. This is from WLBT. Again, great work, WLBT. Thank you for content.
Well, last week's flurry of federal charges against Jackson Mayor Shaun Yurtkuran, Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens, and Councilman Aaron Banks also highlighted how alleged bribes can be concealed by exploiting weaknesses in Mississippi law.
Investigative reporter CJ Lemaster joins us now to explain why the state's failure to monitor the campaign funds flowing to elected officials played a role in this scandal. CJ?
Well, Courtney Ann Howard, because public officials finance their personal lives through their campaign accounts, campaign contributions were the most effective way to influence them. That is what federal agents say Hinds County District Attorney Jody Owens told them 8 months ago, the first mention of a method to conceal bribes for votes. The developers in this deal for a Jackson Convention Center hotel, who were actually undercover FBI agents, lured Hinds County DA Jody Owens and Mayor Chokwe Lumumba to a Florida yacht where this photo was taken of Lumumba accepting campaign contribution checks, 5 of them for $10,000 apiece. But it's unclear if the public would have ever known about it. 3 on Your Side dug into the capital city's records, finding that Lumumba hasn't filed any reports of campaign contributions as required by law since June of 2021. Lumumba even admitted this to reporters when asked about it last month.
I have not filed my campaign finance report, which unfortunately is not uncustomary for my campaign.
And what's interesting about that is you're not supposed to get paid as a public official in Mississippi, an elected official, if you have not filed your campaign reports, but they don't even know who's responsible for that in Mississippi. Shocker. Here's Secretary of State Michael Watson.
Aren't following the law, they need to be held accountable.
But how to do that, and even what agency's responsible, isn't clear in state law. The most recent campaign finance report Lumumba filed lists the penalty for not filing at the bottom, saying the elected officials shall not be paid a salary unless and until they file all required reports. Who's supposed to keep that elected official from being paid? Oh, that's not clear in statute.
That's a great question. Again, what the AG opinion says is the municipality shall not pay the individual who is not up to speed on their reports. Look, I know the auditor audits state level, municipal level. I've seen prosecutions at different levels. So I would think that would probably fall under the purview of the auditor's office. That said, I've not researched that enough to say yes or no with finality.
Though it failed last year, Secretary of State Michael Watson plans to push for more robust campaign finance reform in 2025, making sure these reports are filed and spelling out which agency must step in when someone breaks the law.
This is just another mechanism, in my opinion, to help keep elected officials honest when you have this statewide campaign finance system where everyone can go see who's getting what, how are they spending those dollars, from whom is it coming, did it change a vote? I just think that Mississippians deserve that, and we aim to deliver that as soon as we can.
Now, the state auditor's office tells us enforcing the statute to withhold an official's salary falls to the Mississippi Ethics Commission, but state law actually doesn't mention which agency is responsible for that particular penalty. We reached out to the AG's office to see whether the Attorney General plays a role here, but have not yet heard back. And by the way, Mississippi law doesn't even require cities or counties to notify the state when a candidate or elected official fails to file. There are a lot of holes here in the state's campaign finance laws.
Sorry, it was blaring in my ear. Y'all couldn't hear that, but God knows I could. Anyway, what you guys think about all that? Let that soak in. I'll be back live tomorrow morning. Well, you're probably watching this tomorrow morning. It won't drop to 5:30 a.m. So unless you snuck in my house and broke on my computer, you're watching this tomorrow morning. Tune into the Clay Edwards Show this morning, wherever you're watching this video, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, X, and of course, 103.9 FM WYAB in Central Mississippi, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. live, and of course, on demand, again, on those same social media platforms, video outlets, and audio platforms, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you download podcasts, just search Clay Edwards Show. Peace out.